Good day, we are Team Maftuha. This is Talhah Patelia and my name is Adela.
So what is Maftuha? Maftuha is a single secure application in all aspects of schooling using facial recognition and identification and sentiment analysis.
So the problem is there are apps out there at the moment and or platforms like Google Classroom and exam.net. Exam.net got very expensive during the lockdown. Google Classroom doesn't allow for exams to be written online. Some of the other platforms are not cheat-proof. If a learner has a screen attached to his laptop, that screen is not picked up, and then they usually Google on that screen, keep crib notes. People are getting their friends to write the exams for them. So what have we done?
So for this solution of our for these problems, these are the benefits of those solutions. We facilitate the online exams through moderation by facial recognition by TCS Cubo, and then we have also identification of each individual on the platform with Contactable's API. Then there's communication that's run with TCS PostgreSQL database that they're running for us, and then we have simple AI using sentiment analysis, so we can find out if there's a problem, then there will be a negative or there will be a negative thing, and then if there's a compliment or something, there will be positive. And then disciplinary issues can be sent out by Telnex SMS, and just general information can also be sent out by SMS. And then there's also online cloud storage that can be implemented through IBM. So the security, we really want to focus on security. So the whole application is completely secure. We have on-site 2 servers. One is the on-site server that we're hosting, but we want to deploy that later into like Huawei or IBM. And then, but there's also an off-site one with TCS. And then we have Contactable's verification. Then we also have Google authentication, and we're using those tokens to state manage the whole application. So we have one application, but each individual can access it differently and different access rights. And then the exam is secure and the stored files are encrypted, and it's to SSL encryption standards. Okay, so
the monetization of the business, already there is a big market for online learning due to COVID-19. This happened overnight, obviously, and it's $1 billion industry. So there is already a market for us. However, how will we make money? So we are looking at schools and universities at this stage to pay an annual subscription fee to use the app based on the amount of students that they're using. And we've shown an example of UNISA and the private and independent schools already there. Already about 800,000 students in just that platform. The application captures examination data that can be monetized using TCS Data Marketplace, and globally certified competency providers are in need of this data to avoid fraud or cheating during the exams. These competency providers can collaborate with enterprises to use the app to upskill employees. And then if we look at the areas where there's the government schools and they can't afford this app, then companies can come in with their social responsibility and then fund these schools for data and hardware. The resources we used were Simple AI, Telnex, Contactable, TCS, and IBM.
This is our system architecture for the application. We're going to run a quick demo by a different user here. 1 second. Okay, so this is the online application that we have here. This is the student application looking onto this thing. We have, I'm just going to go inside one of the exams here. It's going to look at my face now, and then it's doing facial recognition for us. Then it wants to look at my screens also, what screens I have open. Then it's looking at all of these different screens. Then it's going to put me into a full screen mode. If it pulls me in a full screen mode, we've written a phone application that will allow us to take photos. Just say we're doing mathematics or chemistry where you can't type it onto the thing. We'll demonstrate that way, where we can upload an image with a unique ID. And then it will pull in this image here, or we can copy the link here, or let's, sorry. And then that image can be placed inside this thing here, and then we can use that. Then we can also message teachers and people on here. The messaging services can be demonstrated here on the side here. We're using, as stated, the TCS database for that. It finds users that are connected to your group meaning the name of your company or school. And then this is, we have sentiment analysis here. So if I type, I will kill you, then the computer should recognize that this is a problem. While it's doing that, I'm going to show you the employee part where we can start doing employee disciplines and general information here. We can confirm user authentication. We can run disciplinary using Telnex and then send out disciplinary issues through the SMS. Then this one here should have sent it, and then it's completely seamless between all users. I recommend if anyone wants to look at this application, they can just ask me, and then I'll give them the login details, and you guys can play around with it for the time being.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much to Maftuha. Is that the way we pronounce it? I hope I got it right. Maftuha, fantastic. Thanks, colleagues, for your presentation. I'd like to just invite our judges to give us their questions. I see that we've got a question from Vuyo. Vuyo, please come to the fore.
Hi, it's Vuyo again. I just have two questions with regards to data and connectivity. You mentioned that you'll be touching on schools. How do you plan on securing the data because you're dealing with minors? So that would be an interesting one just to know how you'll solve that issue. And then with regards to connectivity, so you spoke about government schools. How do you plan on being accessible offline? Because if you're using facial recognition, what tools are you going to use to make sure that it still works properly offline?
Okay.
Awesome. I hope you heard that question.
Yes, I heard the question. Very good questions asked. The first question regarding data being stored on the application, there's two ways that we can store data. One is we go to the company or the school and their systems, or we access the data from their systems, being facial recognition data or exam data. And then the other one is that we store it on our servers. But there is an understanding of how could other like impoverished areas access the data, as there is probably, it's possibly that this application is data intensive. So the individual who sets the exam can state how many times the application is collecting data from the user, and this should reduce the amount of data that is being transferred over the network. And also we would ask the other companies to sponsor different schools, so we can start actually bringing more technology into these schools. So this should be the starting of technology. So just not only for this application, but all for other different types of sectors that they want to run in the school.
Yeah, so in terms of the data, also another thing is what would happen is then the app would then switch on and off the camera for the student while they're writing the exam at different intervals. So the student wouldn't know that the camera is on or it's gone off at certain times. So obviously then that it reduces the data usage at that point, but also the student doesn't know when the camera is on or off, so that also reduces the risk of cheating during the exam, because this is the kind of thing that Talhah is seeing firsthand. He's still at school, and these are the things that we're hearing and we're seeing firsthand that's happening.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for those questions, for answering the questions. I see that we've got another question coming from our Judge Cornelia, and the question is, how do you get around the papaya requirement for processing information from minors?
So we looked at different information we looked at the POPI Act, and I asked a lawyer, one of my lawyer friends, and then he stated that there is a problem there, but what could happen is that schools are already collecting user data, and the data that they're collecting, we can just access the data or be given rights to that data. So under the POPI Act, there is a confirmation. So the user must confirm, and if they are minor, they probably have to have their a parent or a guardian confirm for them to share this user data. But we're not storing stuff like nothing really personal. We're not storing IDs and all of those stuff. Those are only for confirmation, verification. All of the other data is just OAuth tokens and all of that, and with names and surnames.
Awesome. I would like to now move on to our next judge, Errol, if I may invite you to come on board.
Yep, thank you. Firstly, extremely good presentation and a kind of a novel idea, especially the focus on the exams itself. I wanted to check: is this purely for exams, or are you looking at using it as a teaching or learning platform as well? And if so, where do you source your content, for the educational content?
Okay, so that's a great question. So we focus mostly on exams for this presentation here, but there is different sections to the application. So if you can see my sharing on my screen, I have classes, meetings, exams, chat, and storage. So for storing of school information, we can use IBM, the Bucket system, online cloud Bucket system, and we will store all of the exam data on there, and possibly like homework data and stuff that we use in school constantly. With meetings, I was looking into integrating Zoom rather than rebuilding the wheel. Integrating Zoom directly into the application, so it's just one single application that the user can jump between, and then they can get all of their, they can listen to classes and that. With classes information, this is just like, okay, there's an assignment this day and that's organizing all of that information. So these are the main categories here. And then obviously for the teachers, it will be the same, but they have different access rights. And then for the people who, like the admins of the school, they have their access rights to the application, or what is different also.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Just one more comment. Someone asked a question around the accessibility and the affordability of data. One solution is, of course, to run this on IOBA and get people free access.
Yeah, thank you for the idea. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much to our headline sponsor right there. Maximizing the airtime. Thank you so much.